mean, simply put, Bitcoin's the best money that the human race has ever had the ability to embrace. We know gold is defective because of its mechanical nature, and we know fiat's defective because of its political nature. Bitcoin, why does Bitcoin work, right? Bitcoin has shared immutable correct ledger, and Bitcoin's got a base layer protocol. I think the second part of the protocol is not just the mathematical coin parameter. It's also the proof of work security model. So when we created it with 21 million coin limit. Satoshi created it with a proof of work security model. And that is the part that makes it more likely to be immutable and shared and correct. And the third part is the balance of power between the miners, the nodes, and the wallets, or the holders. It wasn't inevitable that you had to build it this way, right? Bitcoin is an engineered monetary system. So it's a feat of engineering. They built a protocol, they chose components, they chose the cryptography, they chose proof of work. All of these were engineered components. And then the balance of power between the miners, the nodes, and the holders with the wallets, that became clearer in the block size wars, I think. And following the block size wars, I mean, first miners were the nodes, and then the miners and the nodes split. And eventually we saw that the nodes themselves had a huge amount of power to check the power of the miners. But now we're seeing the emergence of the power of the holders. And of course, the holders are, all three of these dimensions are decentralizing at a rapid rate. So I would say that, we need the protocol at the base layer. That base layer protocol that I just described, that replaces the gold that was here at the beginning of the universe. Mm-hmm. And it replaces the base layer protocol that's the political artifact of any kind of fiat currency. The second thing that Bitcoin has that makes it a much better money is it has an application layer protocol. The base layer protocol, ensures that we'll never have more than 21 million Bitcoin. I mean, that's the most important thing. And then it ensures, what do I need? I need durability, integrity, and security. So I need to know that it'll never be more than 21 million Bitcoin, even 1,000 years from now. I need to know that people aren't going to monkey with, material things like the frequency or the block size. That's the integrity part of it. And I guess in durability, integrity, they go arm in arm, right? In a way. Because if you change the frequency and the block size, you may inadvertently end up changing the limit at some point because you break it. And then you need security. You need to know that no malefactor can hack it or break into the network. So we're getting all of those things, the security, the integrity, the durability via the base layer protocol. But the application layer protocol is also important. And that's, the ability to do final settlement transactions at the base layer with a Bitcoin wallet address. Because I think that if we just had the ability to do base layer transactions on the Bitcoin network, the system is still perfected enough to serve as a monetary system. You would end up with the layer 2 application being built via counterparties with some counterparty risk, right? Instead of what you can do with Lightning. But the combination of base layer transactions via Bitcoin wallet and then layer 2 transactions via Lightning wallet I think those two things together, are they're clearly superior as an application level protocol. And if you group them together and say that is the non-custodial, decentralized, open source protocol for moving money around in the Bitcoin standard, then you've got the structure of something really compelling. Another way to describe this is Bitcoin gives you a base layer protocol to move large sums of money around at small cost in an hour. And it gives you a layer 2 protocol to move mid-level and small sums of money around instantly for almost nothing. On my Lightning wallet, I can move 1,000 Satoshis at the cost of 1 Satoshi in a second. I can move $30 for 1 Satoshi in a second. That makes that layer 2 protocol, faster and more efficient than any other currency transfer protocol that I'm aware of in the history of the world. I think the Lightning Network is really strategic to the proliferation of Bitcoin. But as a theorist, I think that what's critical to Bitcoin success is not the Lightning Network, but the underlying Bitcoin final settlement. As long as someone can take final settlement of $100,000 in an hour for $5 or 50 cents, or I think right now, probably if you set a lower fee and you were willing to wait longer, right? You can take final settlement in a day for a nickel. You can pull your Bitcoin off the exchange or out of the bank or away from your counterparty in an hour. And so I think that's critical. I think that's critical.
Agreed.
I think Lightning is probably something that's going to accelerate, the spread of Bitcoin, and it's the logical next step. If we can engineer a decentralized, non-custodial crypto asset network based upon private keys and cryptography and the like as Bitcoin, then there's no reason why we couldn't engineer a layer 2 of Bitcoin that's also non-custodial and decentralized. That makes a different set of trade-offs. In essence, I think the Lightning Network is a decentralized, open proof of stake network. But the critical issue is it's a proof of stake network, not staked with its own token, but staked with the underlying token of Bitcoin, which makes it a much higher integrity, much longer living, more secure, open, decentralized network than one that was created with its own token, which would be kind of self-referential. And so why does the Bitcoin standard work, or why is Bitcoin the best monetary system, right? How does it succeed in reality? Well, let's start with inflation, right? The scourge of inflation, which destroys fiat and destroys gold, doesn't exist. In Bitcoin, you've got a conservative system and a mathematically complete system. So it's mathematically correct, and it is conservative in a thermodynamic sense that we don't add additional energy in the system, nor does it deplete energy in the system. And the basis of that conservation is that base layer protocol, right? The base layer protocol plus the proof of work together. You could have designed a system which wasn't conservative, right? Just because you get everything else right. If Satoshi had gotten everything else right, but then left some randomness or some inflation in the token count, it wouldn't have been ideal.